Hi, it's Hamish Conway here from Sell Global. Now, look, over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of changes in the way that brands sell their products, and obviously moving away from retail and more into an e-commerce space. Now, I've got this title here, Your Website, Email List and Socials Are Not Enough. And you might be going, well, not enough for what? And the answer is really, in terms of to really grow your brand, to really expand your reach and do that in a way that is going to be affordable and have something else do the heavy lifting for you, then I'm going to explain quickly today as to why I think this here is not enough. Your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, your pixels, your email audience there, why that is enough. Look, you need to have that stuff, right? And that's a magnificent platform to start from. And what I've seen over the last couple of years with the brands that we work with, that the fact that they are doing more than this, that's why they're doing big seven figures, right? So let's have a look at why I believe this is the case. So when it comes to people buying on your website, right? Even if it's Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, whatever it might be, there is still friction in the sale. And by friction, it can be as simple as they've got to enter their address and their credit card details. Okay, so that there, and a lot of these payment things are getting smoother, but there's still just friction. And friction, and also in terms of just concerns or objections that they might have if they don't know who you are. Okay, if they're new to your brand, it can be a problem. Then you've got shoppers are skeptical, as what I was saying there, and because of that, they want to shop around, or they want to look around to get more feedback and look at reviews, etc., to find out how legit are you and your brands and your products. So people are bouncing around, and they're looking maybe at they're Googling, they're looking at other marketplaces, looking on socials, and also places like Amazon, eBay, etc. So that is happening. And look, in doing all of this here, this is labor intensive. You've got to look after your website, your storefront, making sure you've got inventory working, you've got your posting, you've got your email outs and the automation that you do with your CRM, etc. Like, there's quite a lot of work to do there, and you'll know who in your business is doing that and how long that takes and how that goes. Then some of the traffic sources can be inconsistent. And so inconsistent because you're doing the heavy lifting. If you're not taking action, then it's not really organically going to happen. And inconsistent in that you might have a strategy that relies on influences. And look, it could be a spike and then it drops off as other things start to hit the feed, right? So the halo effect might be quite small. So paid traffic as well is getting more expensive and harder to attribute a positive ROI for products, and particularly on something like Facebook, where because of what's happening on the iOS system and pixels and tracking and just a whole lot of changes there that make it really hard to turn a profit when you're selling products, particularly lower price products. Anything under $100, it starts to get really difficult. And even with your Google ads and maybe Google Shopping, that can start to be difficult if you're not doing that quite the right way. So paid traffic is tricky. And when you want to enter a new market, like if you're from New Zealand, you want to enter Australia, or if you're in Australia, you want to enter the US, you've got a ton of noise that you've got to compete with in these areas here in your socials and to build that audience up. So it can be quite difficult. So if you really want to go to that next level, then I think I've got a solution for you. And again, to put ranking on Google is hard as well. We'll move on to the next part here. So shoppers are bouncing around. You may have seen this before. It's not a linear. They start here, I'm thinking about it, go to your website and buy. That can happen, but it's not the most common. People are looking at marketplaces, they're looking at your socials, and they are buying from wherever is most convenient for them to buy from. And that could be because of delivery, could be because they off the reviews, it could be they've got a free Prime membership there with free shipping. So you want to be turning up where the consumers are looking and buying as well. Here's why this method is really important. You've got your own online e-commerce system here, right? So all these things I talked about before, you've got your 3PL, you've got pixels here, you've got PPC, Google, your CRM, this is all working, and this is what you want to control around your brand, right? This is your brand equity that you've built up, and that you want to grow. And if we look here at being on e-marketplaces, because this is where 70% of shoppers start their buying journey for products, on Amazon, eBay, Catch, Myer, MyDeal, for example, and other niche sites, like a health post, for example, or a pet stock. This is where people start their buying journey. Now, they get introduced to your brand here. They may purchase from that platform, if that makes sense, but you know that they're going to go and have a look at your socials to see what's happening. They'll have a look at your website to find out more about you. And when they do that, that's where you can get the pixel, you can get them get their email address, and then you can start to control that conversation with the prospect or the customer. And it might be they buy on a marketplace first and then they continue to buy from you because you've got a good deal or more products on there, right? So mostly think about this as being on an e-marketplace is it's driving all these eyeballs are coming here to these marketplaces, and I'll do another video on how many eyeballs. It's millions, right? They're there doing the heavy lifting, and it's driving traffic towards your online ecosystem. So that's the objective there. It feeds it. So think of it as a lead generation for feeding your online ecosystem. And what really happens here is a rising tide lifts all boats. You get this cross-channel uplift. They don't compete against each other, they complement each other. And when people see you on an Amazon or an eBay, or they're searching around in Google, then your brand just keeps on turning up, and then you get this increased brand awareness. You get more lead generation from advertising options there, like on Amazon. I don't know if you know, but Amazon is streaks ahead when it comes to selling products, and it's only going to the next level in terms of even the whole customer journey attribution, the actual acquisition cost of a customer. That's where it is the best at the moment. So also, you get to grow your own audience here, which I touched on that. You get new to brand customers, and people on marketplaces, they are more willing to get a new to brand, to try a new product than anywhere else, right? And the reason for that is they're buying on a platform and they know if something goes wrong, it'll get sorted. It's a very low risk purchase for them on a marketplace, but they buy in there, then subsequent purchases inside of your online ecosystem. You're going to get sales growth, increased searchability, more trust in the brand because they see you. You look way more legitimate because you're showing up everywhere, and increased discoverability. So if you want these sort of benefits and you believe that this sort of method here is a e-marketplace omni-channel approach to drive into your online ecosystem, then if you're interested in something like that, particularly focused in on Australia, then make sure you click below, and we've got eMarketplace Accelerator. So if you want to find out more about that, click on there, and next week I'm going to share more about it. So I hope you found that useful, and we'll be in touch very soon. All the best.